Welcome to iPad Pros, the show all about using your iPad to be productive and get work done. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show.
Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of iPad Pros. In this episode, we are joined by William Gordon, who works for the New Zealand government with his job being IT Ops. And in this episode, we dive into a myriad of different topics, including his role of the iPad in the workplace, managing other iPads for the New Zealand government, how he uses the iPad in his personal time, everything from music recording, note-taking, photography, managing servers and media management, and much, much more. So a lot of different topics that we dive into in this episode coming up of iPad Pros. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's my discussion with William. Enjoy.
Welcome to the podcast, William. Thanks for joining me tonight, or in the afternoon for you.
Nice to be here.
So you're out in New Zealand, and I'm out here in New Hampshire, United States. So quite the time jump here. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, I've noticed you on Mastodon as, a person in the iPad world. I'd love to chat with, about just different iPad things. So we're going to dive into kind of how you use the iPad. Yeah.
An honor to be here. Honor to be invited and have a chat about it.
Absolutely. So share a little bit about your kind of background. Like, what do you do for work? And is the iPad a part of that? Or is it more of in your personal time and all that?
There's a fair bit of overlap, actually. Though I guess I first got into using the iPad and Apple products through work. Mm-hmm. At the moment, I'm the IT Ops lead at a local government organisation.
Okay.
Probably would have been about the iPhone 3G. I think I started using a Mac then, and then when the iPad got announced, it's like, that looks interesting, and took a couple of years to sort of figure out what I could use it for, but been using one ever since, right through. I think probably my favourite one would have been the 12.9 M1 iPad Pro.
Yeah,
that was one of the best computers I've ever used.
Yeah, an amazing iPad. And then, so during for your day job, you mentioned it's a government kind of role. Is Windows still king there? And at least
very much so.
Okay, I figured. Yeah,
certainly for like the back end stuff, the laptops, desktops, that sort of thing. But everything mobile that we do is iPads and iPhones.
So I figured the iPhone penetrated, but also the iPad was a part of that for government.
Yes.
Okay. That just shows you how
for
far
us
Microsoft
anyway.
fell. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the iPad really has like become you see it in interesting places. Like it's kind of like penetrated to like, oh, that's an iPad. Even people will rock an Android phone, but also still have an iPad because that's like the tablet of choice still.
I don't think there's nothing else like it in terms of the whole package, the price point, the quality, the longevity, the apps that are available, the third-party accessory ecosystem, all of that kind of stuff. There's nothing else that really fits in that space apart from an iPad.
Now, as IT Ops lead, are you guys doing much as far as enterprise apps for government installs and whatnot?
So on the operations side of it, we're not so we're not building the app so much,
mm-hmm.
but supporting what is built either internally or by external vendors. And supporting the end users with the use of the technology.
Yeah.
Showing them how the iPads work and how to get the best out of them and that kind of thing.
Do you run across any like common, like this is this is happening as far as user errors where people are like, how do I use this on the iPad? And I guess the tech support angle of IT.
Yeah, probably the most common thing is showing or explaining to people why they don't have to force quit all their apps all the time. But that
Yes.
applies to the iPhone as well.
And
Yeah.
how quickly do you guys roll out the big OS updates? Are you guys a full year behind, or a couple months, or?
We don't. If there has been times where I have advised the users not to go ahead with an update.
Yeah.
But even though all of their devices are managed through an MDM, we don't actually force an upgrade or force holding them back, unless there is a reason to do so.
Okay.
There have been like critical security fixes and that kind of thing that we have forced out, and trying to keep the stragglers, the older devices, updated with fairly new OSs, at least sort of one or two behind at the most. But largely we just let the users go for it, and we've fixed problems as we come across them.
Gotcha. And as far as the power of the devices out there for what you're managing, do most of those devices actually support the old Stage Manager, or is it now with the 26 update the first time many of the users are experiencing that because it's just available to everybody now?
Actually, I should have a look. I could actually have a look into the management tool for you and show you how many people we've got on 26. I haven't had any questions come across my desk about Stage Manager and how that works.
So I'm guessing like M1 iPads were not the norm, or like in the
that's
past.
Right.
With,
so
the old. Yeah.
It's probably a split between two types of users that we have. One is the field user, which they use the bottom end, like a Gen 10 or Gen 11 iPad, wrapped in a rugged case.
Yeah.
And they don't tend to have a pencil or a keyboard or anything. They're just out in the field taking photos, GPS tagged photos, filling in asset inspection forms, that kind of thing. And then there's the more office-focused users who tend to have the either an Air or a Pro in some cases. They might use the pencil for taking notes, or a keyboard for using the iPad like a laptop replacement. It's that the latter group that would be in a situation where they may be connecting an external monitor, using a corded keyboard and mouse, that sort of thing, to access a remote desktop server, to run Windows apps from, or just use the iPad apps on the big screen.
Now, your main role of an iPad in the workplace would probably be remote access to the different computers you're trying to manage.
That's certainly how it was up until about 18 months to 2 years ago.
Okay.
We had a change of CIO, and they decided that we'd start working to remove all the remote desktop servers. So at that point, we had to pivot away from deploying iPads as laptop replacements and actually deploying proper laptops so that people could run the Windows apps locally or at home or whatever. And so the iPads at that point pivoted to become an accessory of a laptop.
I see. Okay. And that was probably a security reason why they want to turn those off.
It was more that was part of it, but the main thing was that the particular CIO hadn't come across remote desktop services being used a lot anywhere, and so they felt that that technology was an old school kind of, why are we doing this? Everyone else uses laptops. Let's just use laptops.
I see. Yeah.
And I guess my vision at the time was to try and I kind of saw the trends in the industry moving to a more client server separation, where people would have a highly mobile, long battery life device like an iPad, and access their information and technology through it, rather than doing a whole lot of things locally.
Yeah, and there was even for a while like a rumor that Apple would release like a Mac laptop that was purely server based, where you just log into your Mac and everything's kind of done on the server, and that never came to fruition, really.
Which was a pity. So that's kind of where I saw things going. So I was trying to lay the foundation for us to be ready to jump to that.
Yeah.
And skip over the whole let's deploy laptops to everyone thing, because then it also as was part of my thinking, was that when the Vision Pro becomes more kind of mainstream, more available to people in different parts of the world, they're not available here, and they're also, I think, in local money, there'd be about $8,000 or $9,000, which is just an extraordinary amount of money. But
yes, it
the
is.
the technology is new. But if I could get to a point where most of our users were accessing their technology through an iPad, then the Vision Pro becomes a possible niche device that could be used in that scenario, where it makes sense to.
Totally.
So with us sort of kind of changing direction and going to where everyone else is, I think that's kind of going to put us behind a bit. But there are positives to that as well. Like everyone having their own laptop gives people extra capability right now wherever they are.
Yeah, you can work
The
offline
downside is that
for a lot of things.
Yeah, that's right. The downside is it does take more management, more support resource, and we are severely under-resourced, which was one of the reasons why we stayed with the remote desktop services for quite some time.
Yeah, because every time you log off, it kind of can refresh itself, right?
Yeah. So there's around about 400 devices that we manage in our management platform. It looks like we got here about 140 of those on iOS 26 or higher.
Oh, that's decent. Yeah.
So it's, what's that? That's about a third,
Yeah.
I guess, roughly, which seems to go along with the kind of industry reporting that's going on at the moment.
Yeah. For sure.
We tend to see the uptake pretty much mirror what Apple reports for their worldwide statistics. Yeah.
Now, as far as your usage of the iPad, I know music recording is one of the things you do kind of in your personal time.
That's more of a personal one, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You're not writing like music for government ads or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
There's the whole comms and marketing team that are involved in all of that kind of thing.
Now, how are you finding GarageBand for that? And have you been tempted by Logic, which has gotten more and more capable on the iPad?
I haven't actually tried Logic on the iPad. I did save up and purchase a Logic Pro license, bought it from the App Store for the Mac.
Oh, nice.
And I'm watching some videos across YouTube to just figure out how all of that works, with the intent of trying to do a bit more deeper I guess, audio production work
Yeah.
in Logic on the Mac. So if that works out well and better, then I may end up looking at moving some of that workflow to Logic on the iPad, which brings us nicely to the Creator Studio thing. That's kind of looks like a good deal for people that need the tools.
Yeah, it definitely does. One
Yeah.
piece of bummer news that I didn't know about when I recorded the last episode that just came out is that it appears, well, no, for real, but it seems that they're telling media that there won't be individual subscriptions anymore for Final Cut or Logic. You just or Pixelmator Pro, for example. You'll have to get the whole bundle if you want.
The whole bundle.
You'll have to get the bundle if you want any of those apps, which is... I hope they change their mind on that, because it seems odd. You can't just get Final Cut if that's all you care about. Yeah,
It is a pity, yeah. Because I think they said you could still buy Final Cut on its own on the Mac.
on the Mac, yeah,
but
the Mac
not
has all this.
on the iPad, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is strange.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great deal if you end up using a fair
All
bit
of
of
the
those
stuff,
apps.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Logic is fantastic on the iPad, and it's full file compatibility with the Mac version, so it's kind of
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that ability to move stuff backwards and forwards would be incredible.
Yeah.
One place we do in the comms and marketing team at work, that team is the only one that's actually allowed Macs. Everyone else has Windows devices.
Oh, yeah.
But they tend to be, so they use Final Cut. That's the only one of the Apple suite that they use.
Okay.
Everything else they do is Adobe Photoshop or
Mm-hmm.
Adobe Illustrator.
I gotcha. Yeah. And then, Logic is adding this new thing where you can throw in a song and it'll tell you like the chord progression, which that seems super interesting.
A cool idea, yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as music for you, what do you play, if anything?
So I play a little bit of guitar. I haven't in a while, but it's mostly the recording that we do is we use a backing track played from my iPhone into one channel of the little Scarlett USB-C audio interface.
Yep.
And then my wife sings, so I'll record that directly into GarageBand on the iPad through the two-channel interface, and then do some mixing and post-production stuff, and then we'll put it up on your SoundCloud.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little bit of recording that I've started to do is very cute. So my daughter, we got the Tony. I'm not sure if Tonys are a big deal over there for kids, but it's basically this little boombox type thing. But you add this NFC figure to the top of it, and it'll play, a sound, some songs from a movie or whatever. But they have what they call creative Tonys, and you can record your own songs with your iPhone, and it'll upload it to their server, and then it pairs it with a figure you get for your creative Tony, and every time you pop it down there, it starts singing whatever you put it there, and it's the biggest who in the world where she gets a blast out of hearing herself sing and stuff. It's very cute. So we need to get more into doing more with that in the years to come with using GarageBand and Logic and doing some more music, and I'm sure I could just find a way to beam that over to Tony with just playing it back or something. Yeah, but
that's cool.
It's very funny. Yeah, it's a fun little device. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I think that was one of the things that I, you listen to the media and everything in the early days with the iPad talking about it being a consumption-only device. But I think for quite some time it's been a capable creation device as well.
Yeah, and GarageBand has been there since day one, I want to say.
I think it was, yes.
I know iWork was.
the UI looked different back then.
Oh
It
yeah,
was the older brush
skeuomorphic.
metal
Yep.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But I guess because there was a time of maybe 8 to 10 years where I was trying to do everything through the iPad, either on the iPad or on a Mac that I was remoting to, or on a Windows server that I was remoting to. I created videos and audio and all of that kind of stuff, like using LumaFusion
Yeah.
or iMovie on the iPad. And yeah, it's sure I wasn't making feature films or anything like that, but just
Right.
things, yeah,
Yeah.
useful things for work and that kind of thing. Little tutorial type videos and funny videos to play in a meeting or something.
Yeah. No, LumaFusion is incredibly powerful, and I
Yeah,
think one of the better apps out there for just doing simple video stuff that's easy to understand how to do it. Yeah. Now, for note taking, both work and personal, I see as I have GoodNotes and concepts, which I want to dive into, is Devonthink To Go. And I'm very curious on this one because I've been a Devonthink user since my college days, so it's
great.
been 20 years now. That seems far too long. I feel like I just graduated, a couple of years ago. But
Time goes so fast.
it does. But the mobile version just got a substantial update that I'm very curious to dive into. I didn't pay for the update yet, but you've been using this, and what are your thoughts on?
I have.
Yeah.
When I first started taking notes using the iPad, which was around 2013, at the time I was using Evernote. This was before Evernote became a.
It was once a
electron app.
glorious app for those that are too
Wow.
young to know. It was a innovative app. It was vibrant and fun and creative and ahead of its time. And then that all went away. And then did you do what I did and use the Mac app to have Devonthink import your entire Evernote database into it?
That's right.
Yeah. That's a brilliant tool that Devonthink did, because it's like it was a proprietary format, so it was hard to get that stuff out. There was no real good export, but Devonthink figured out a way to do that. So, yeah,
I'm just really glad they did that, and very happy that I made the choice to jump to Devonthink from Evernote. There were a few other options at the time, things like OneNote, for example, which being in a Microsoft-centric workplace was kind of the first app on the list to have a look at. But it just didn't have the iPad specific features that I wanted. Good pencil support. At the time, there was no slide over or anything like that. It was well behind. And even the Mac app, I think, they seem to dumb it down from the Windows one.
yeah.
But Devonthink has been great. It's become an essential part of my personal knowledge base storage with the workflows and the smart filters and things that you can build into it. I've got a few automations happening there through my home Mac. So if a file shows up in the file system, it'll grab it, stamp the date and that into the name, and then place it into the Devonthink inbox. And then obviously it syncs everywhere as well.
For the big update, is it Devonthink 4? Mobile 4?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
What have been the big improvements for you personally for this update?
I think it might be an unpopular opinion, but I quite like the liquid glass look and feel.
Yeah.
And so the Devonthink To Go 4 was bringing it in line with that sort of liquid glass interface, but which made it feel fresh. But it seems to run just faster. There were some UX pieces that felt, I don't know if old is the right word, but it just, there were some things that felt a bit clunky with the UX before, and it's a lot more streamlined now. It seems to index itself quicker, it's not spending so much time doing the syncing and checking in on things. There must be a lot of that happening behind the scenes now. So it's been a really nice transition.
Nice. Yeah, the one thing I need to try is I struggled mightily to try to get Devonthink To Go to have it store my databases on my Synology. There was like a walkthrough on how to do it, and I could never get it to work. So I'm hopeful maybe with Devonthink To Go 4, they maybe worked on that to make that a little bit simpler to implement for people like me.
Yeah, I'm basically storing a local copy of the database effectively and syncing through through CloudKit between two Macs, an iPhone and an iPad.
Nice, yeah. I think my problem was it was just getting to be such a large database that it became problematic. Even though I have a big iPad, my iPhone's not nearly as big, so it tries to sync that down to it, and so I
think mine is currently sitting only about the sort of 15 to 20 gigabytes in size.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that seems to work okay. I haven't even needed to like split things out. I just run it all in one big database.
What kind of things do you put in there?
So there's the what we mentioned before, the note taking. When I'm note taking on the iPad, I use GoodNotes to handwrite the notes. I don't use GoodNotes. I don't use any of the note capture tools to store the notes in. They're simply the sort of capture and tagging, and then everything gets thrown into Devonthink.
Okay.
If I'm typing notes, I use Typora on my MacBook, which is just a simple markdown editor. And I spit PDFs out of that, and they go into Devonthink.
Because we haven't mentioned that your iPad is a tablet. You don't use it with a keyboard. When you need a keyboard, you pull out the Mac.
Yeah,
which I appreciate that. As far as usage, and you have the pencil, you have the pencil as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And which is a change from what I used to do. So for that 8 years or so, everything was done through the iPad with a keyboard and a pencil. As soon as those things were available, obviously, I think when I started out, it was on maybe a iPad 4 or an Air 2.
Yeah.
Sort of back in those days, and I used the old the pencil from 53, the wooden one with the rubber tip on it.
Yeah.
That one, and there were a bunch of other styluses that I tried. There was I forget the brand of it, but it had a little metal piece with a plastic disc on the end of it.
Yes,
and that was quite good for writing.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. The little red dot in the middle. Yep.
Yeah, and that was the best one I found for doing handwriting.
Yeah, for people that didn't live through that era, it was a wild time of stylus experimentation. Yeah.
Yep. I think the last one I used was an Adonit Touch. And that actually just had a little plastic nib, slightly bigger than what the Apple Pencil was. But as soon as the Apple Pencil came out, it was
that killed the entire market.
It completely did, and The experience before that was good.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. It was functional. After that, it was just light years ahead. And through the Pencil 2 and now I'm using a Pencil Pro, they're just fantastic devices. Nothing like it.
And you're now on the 11-inch iPad Pro M4,
Yeah.
which is what I use as well.
That's right.
The 11-inch M4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's my main one these days, and I still have a M1 12.9. And
Right, yeah.
one of these days I'll get a big, thin, iPad. But I do really enjoy the smaller one, and not having I have a keyboard finally, but for a year or so I didn't have the keyboard, and you really do use it differently when you don't have a keyboard, and you treat the iPad
That's right.
as a tablet more, which is nice.
Yeah, and that was, I do miss the days of being able to just go anywhere with my 12.9-inch iPad Pro with the smart keyboard, with the touchpad on it and the Apple Pencil, and I knew that I could get to everything I needed. It was a cellular one as well. And, I could go away to an out-of-town meeting for a whole day on the train, watch movies or something on the way there and back, be in a meeting for 6 or 7 hours for the day, taking notes and typing and being in a Zoom call or a Teams call or whatever, and the battery would last the whole time. You'd get to about 11 or 12 o'clock and the Windows laptop users were starting to break out their power adapters and things to keep going.
Yeah. I'm so curious.
It was a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the battery life on these things are wild.
Yeah.
I'm so curious if the iPhone Fold, when I eventually get one of those things, if that'll change what that'll change what iPad I'd prefer. Because maybe you have the Fold plus the bigger iPad now versus the Fold being closer in size to 11-inch may make the 11-inch less interesting for me. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an opportunity to drop down from, a laptop, an accessory tablet, and an iPhone to just two devices again. But it'll depend on the cost of it as well, obviously.
That too. Yep.
Yeah.
That thing. Yep. I'll be curious. Yep. I say this now, but I got the Air this last year, so I'm not due for any kind of iPhone for another year after the Fold comes out. So I got a year to wait if I can be that patient.
How are you finding the Air?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It still delights me every time I pick it up.
I picked one up in a shop the other day for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was like remarkably thin.
Yeah, no, it still delights me, even though I've had it forever. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
And
made my iPhone 17 Pro feel really thick afterwards.
Yeah, and the thing's a tank. I love how durable this thing is.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of my 3-year-old throwing it across the room because I know it'll survive. She chucked it against the wall. I said this on the podcast before, but she threw it at high velocity against the wall, not a single scratch out. It's like, okay, this thing's built well. This Air.
Yeah. The titanium works well, huh?
Yeah, and the new glass. Apple's done miraculous work with Ceramic Shield 2 and all that. Like the front and back glass, not a single scratch. Which the old iPhones, even last year, they'd scratch up very easily. I feel the glass.
Yeah.
So that
remarkable.
I think the glass is the biggest improvement this year as far as the durability overall for all the iPhones. Yeah. So as far as concepts, what do you use that app for?
Yes. So that's, I guess, one of the things I've tried to do with my setup is having, as I was saying before, having Devonthink be the core of where I throw everything. So that's where I tag and geolocate and, names, and I can search all sorts of things in there. And I did that so that I could use different types of apps to capture notes. depending on the context that I was in, whether it was handwriting or typing, or in the case of concepts, if it's a more like sketchnoting or a sort of an illustrative note that I want to do. And that's what I end up using concepts for, is if I'm taking sermon notes, I kind of like to do it a bit more pictographically rather than just words.
Yeah.
But I also have used concepts for drawing diagrams for illustrative purposes for work, for training material and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. Any other note-taking things of note to mention?
Up until maybe 8 months ago, I was using Note Shelf 2, which they just came out with a new version, and I was having a play with that, and that was quite nice as well. But I ended up coming back to GoodNotes. One of the things we use GoodNotes for at work is all of the people who have an iPad that want to take handwritten notes, we give them GoodNotes for that. So it's handy to use the same tool that you're suggesting to your users.
Yes.
So you
if they
can
have
help them out with
questions,
things
you can
as well.
you can help them. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I do use the Apple Notes app for taking for some kind of more for typed for just on-screen keyboard taken notes. What else is there?
Yeah, I envy kids going through school with like GoodNotes and being able to just have an audio recording and like have it flat, tying the audio recording to your handwriting that's being captured. Like, seems like, I don't know, seems like going through school will be way different these days with things like that.
And not having to carry stacks of books around, just have an iPad with your book library on it.
Totally.
That's, there was one other one I just saw. I used MindNode Classic for creating mind maps, both on the iPad and on the Mac as well. One thing that I would really like that I've not been able to find so far is a Apple Pencil mind map app so I could just draw on a canvas and then have it turn it into like a MindNode document.
Yeah, right.
That would be amazing. Maybe I should learn how to be a developer and try and create something like that.
some vibe coding. Yeah. Yeah, mind mapping is such a powerful tool. Like I've done it a couple times, and when you get into a flow state, it's pretty wild how useful it can be. I used MindNode to write. I wrote a book about the iPod, and that's the app I used to gather and organize all my thoughts about it. So that was. I've got a crazy look at mind map of like this entire book in there. It's kind of wild how in depth that can get. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So photos. Everyone takes photos. Do you do more? Do you have a fancy camera? Do you do everything with the iPhone?
I have an old a Canon 60D, which I think was in America. I think that was known as a Rebel something or other.
Yeah.
It's fairly old now. It's about 14 years old, I think.
Okay.
But if I'm taking serious photos, that's what I use. The rest of the photos that I take, probably 90% of the photos I take would be through my iPhone.
Yep.
But regardless of where I take them, I use Darkroom on the iPad to do the sort of processing part.
Yeah, Darkroom's a great app.
It's awesome. And one thing I haven't used so far is the new video feature that they've added to it.
That's right. They did this whole video thing. I remember they did that, but I never really got into it much. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my Photomator is my main app, but I did dabble very intensely in all the other apps to see what they're all about. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with Photomator now.
They've announced that one is continuing to get updates, and you can buy it still.
Okay.
And then Pixelmator
It'll
Classic
just be a standalone one.
Yeah, Pixelmator Classic has basically been abandoned, it sounds like, which is sad.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, Darkroom, great app that it's good to see them have continued updates.
Yeah, and that's one that's available on the Mac now as well.
That's right. Yep.
As a native app. So.
And you're a Darkroom Plus subscriber or no?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Oh, and there's a one-time. Yeah, they do the one-time thing. I wasn't sure if you just did the one-time purchase for $100.
No, I'm doing the subscription one. I think it's about $30 New Zealand
Yep, every
per
year.
year for
Yep,
that.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What
I've
what are the big
tried-
things? What's kind of your big tool set you use when you edit a photo? Like, are you?
I've I've got the Affinity products on
Yep.
my iPad. I haven't had a huge amount of call to use them, but it's good to know they're there when I need to. So I'd use the Affinity Photo 2. Actually, I don't know if I've put the new Affinity app on there. I've got that on my Mac.
Yeah, I know they're bringing a unified app at some point. to the
That's
iPad.
right.
That's
It
not
hasn't
yet out
come.
yet. Yeah, it's on the Mac though.
Yeah. That'll be why I don't have it then. Yeah, so
Right,
I've got
yeah.
Affinity Photo 2
Yeah.
and Publisher. And I've got, I play around with illustrating in Procreate as well.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Procreate. I love that app, but I'm a terrible drawer, so I end up making this
Yeah, me too.
I'll make abstract art where I'm just going thin and thick of different shapes and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's like if this was Seinfeld, I could make the triangles from all these triangles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the Freeform app as well. I've occasionally
Do you
use
do much
that
with
for
Freeform?
drawing.
Yeah.
Only really in like if I'm sitting with someone trying to explain something to them, then I use my 11-inch iPad as like a personal whiteboard to draw what I'm talking about and convey the information.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as server management, how much of that do you do for your job? Do you run your own kind of personal server as well?
I do both, yeah. So
Okay.
we've got a few hundred servers at work that I help look after. Mostly that's done because they're Windows servers. I use the app called Jump Desktop as my RDP/VNC admin app. And I'm currently using a tool called Blink to do any SSH and command line kind of work. And that's from my iPad, but I also use Ghosty on the Mac to do the same kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Jump Desktop is a brilliant app. It's the connection is just that's like the magic. There's not much configuration, and then they had that Citrix X1 mouse support back before mouse support was a thing.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That formed when I was first started using an iPad Pro as a desktop. Connected into an external monitor. This was before the iPad had built-in external monitor to support.
Jump Desktop would optimize for it.
Yeah. So I could run Jump Desktop in a 1/3 window on the left of the screen, and that would send the full screen out to the big screen. And then I'd use the other 2/3 of the iPad screen to to have other apps on there, like messages or a to-do list or on my email or whatever. And up on the big screen, I'd have the Mac that I was remoted to, or the Windows machine that I was remoted to, connected with the Citric X1 mouse and the Magic Keyboard.
Yeah, that was
Brilliant.
yeah.
And that was from about 2014.
Yeah, and it felt like you're living the
Yeah.
future that you've been doing that. Yeah.
And yeah, so what I was trying to prototype back then, where I was trying to head the deployment to the rest of the staff too. And there's probably half a dozen people that are still clutching onto their iPad Pro going, I don't want a Windows laptop, just leave me with this.
Right.
So that was going to be a tricky conversation when the time comes.
Yeah, because you have a certain amount of people that are still remote accessing in with iPads.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Most we're most of the way through that deployment now. So most people have their own Windows laptops, but there are still
Some holdouts.
Maybe 50 odd people that are still using the remote desktop environment.
They're not answering your phone calls, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Try to get me on this Windows thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yes.
yeah. And then as far as media, iPad, of course, gets made fun of for being a media consumption device, but it is great at that.
And it's a good one.
It's a good one.
It is great at that. Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Mostly using the Apple TV app or the Plex app to consume media.
And you run your own Plex server as well?
Yes. Yeah. I run that on my home Mac Mini.
Nice.
That's another place that I've got some automation set up. So I can share a YouTube URL to a shortcut, which strips out the code from the URL and places it in a text file, which syncs through to my home Mac, and then Hazel picks that up and does a download of the file and adds it into Plex so I can watch it later when I've got time.
Nice. Yeah. It's funny how much I've shifted. Like back in the 2006 or whatever, I was big into like ripping my DVDs onto my external hard drive.
Yeah.
Eventually, those all crashed and I lost all the data. And it's like I'm just gonna buy them from Apple, and I was just done after a certain point because I was so into it. I had so many DVDs and had such the big collection, and eventually it's like I'm tired of doing this, and I'm just gonna.
That's pretty much exactly what I've done as well. And for a little while there, my wife and I were thinking that at some point in the future we'd get into the whole tiny house thing. So I was trying to get rid of all of the DVDs that we had, and replace them with movies from iTunes when they came on special. I'd buy them and then give away the DVD.
Yep.
And I've made a little shortcut to do that as well on the iPad, which was cool, using Data Jar now to store the data in, and just scraping the web APIs and things.
Yeah. No, this Christmas season, it's been a big TV season or series time for me. It's like, this thing, all of 24 is only like $15. Let me get this. And Better Call Saul's on big sales. So I've been doing a lot of that this holiday season. Yeah,
that's one unfortunate thing about New Zealand is we don't get the TV shows through iTunes.
Oh, you don't? Okay, that's a shame.
No, we only get movies, and we don't get all of the movies that you guys get either. Most of the movies. Yeah,
I hate the geo. I mean, it makes sense, but I wish it was just one store across the world that was priced differently. Yeah. Because I know if I move countries, I have to like pretend I'm still in America to keep, or I have to create a new account. 'Cause if you move, you like lose all your purchases. It's like, oh no, I'm not. Yeah.
So. I've actually got an American store account so that I can purchase some TV shows when they come on special.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, watching those on the iPad and the Mac is next to impossible.
It's a
But it's
pain.
very, very simple on the Apple TV. You can just switch to the EUS account and then go into the Apple TV app and bring them up and start watching them on the
Oh,
TV.
nice. Yeah, you need almost like a second iPad that's logged into that account or something.
Believe it or not, I have one next to me. Yes, but it's quite
right.
an old iPad that doesn't have that good of a screen
Yeah.
or sound.
Yeah, I have a Japan account because like
Oh, yeah.
a decade ago, I was trying to learn Japanese. So it's like let me buy Lord of the Rings in Japanese, and it's a really good dub. But so
Yeah,
I've got a
yeah.
bunch of like blockbusters and and from the Japan store that. So
Right.
I'm familiar with the dance, and I think it's probably gotten harder to
Yeah.
deal with all that.
Yeah. That was the story just before Christmas about the guy from Australia, I think, that lost his Apple account because of
Oh
a dodgy
yes. Mm-hmm.
store iTunes card.
Yeah.
That made me think. You normally go to a website in America to buy an iTunes card and enter that code into the store account. So I'd have to think twice about that.
Yeah, the riskiest thing I did recently was I saw that Jurassic Park was updated for 3D for the Apple Vision Pro.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
already
so you tweeted about
owned
that.
Yeah, I already owned it. So
Yeah,
it's like, how do I get you can't buy it again. You can gift
Yeah.
the movie if you pull up a very ancient Mac running iTunes that still runs the old iTunes store. But instead of doing that, because I didn't want to go through that hassle, I went to a very shady website where you could buy, my guess is codes from like Blu-rays that have the digital copy.
Oh, yes.
So I did that, and I bought Jurassic Park for like $3 or $4 there, and it worked. And I got my copy is now upgraded for 3D, and
Excellent. I bet that looks amazing in the Vision Pro.
oh, it's stunning. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, this is the shadiest stuff ever. I'm buying like a code on some like very sketchy site here, and it worked. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jaws 3D should come out at some point. That'd be nice because they made Jaws 3 as 3D or whatever, and be fun if
Yeah.
there are a bunch of TV shows where they had the red and blue glasses you could wear for 3D back in the.
Oh, okay.
I forget what era that was, but I'm rewatching Chuck now, and the episode I just
Oh, yeah.
finished was Chuck versus the Third Dimension. It's like, oh, this is the 3D episode that there's no way to watch in 3D right now, but there's all these like gimmicks of things coming at you. It's like,
Funny.
yeah, that was definitely an era I remember of like, people get on the glasses for the 3D episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, for social media, what all what kind of networks do you participate in, and are any of those work for your actual work, or would that probably be the media team because you're in IT, right?
Yeah, it's mostly for personal stuff that I'm on Mastodon. I use the Mona app across the Mac and iPad and iPhone. Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah, for sure.
No algorithms, just people.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I've gotten more into threads because
Oh yeah.
like that sounds great, but yeah, there's like it's nice for keep up with baseball news and stuff like that to have a bigger network like that.
Yeah.
And the algorithm there works pretty well for just news for like Kyle Tucker signing the Dodgers tonight or whatever. I found that out right away from that and all that. And I'm impressed with Threads with their web app is actually pretty decent on iPad, where you can just install from Safari and it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, that's getting a lot better.
It is, yeah.
Both on the iPad and the Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. And then your 12.9-inch iPad, is that sold, or is there some role that you still use it for occasionally?
No, I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
It's used by someone else at work. It got reset and passed on. That tends to be what happens with all of my devices. They kind of, I get them and have them for a bit and then reset them and pass them on and get the new thing.
Yeah, it's funny. Up until a certain point, devices were inexpensive enough to just like, oh, let me just get this next one and keep the old one. And at a certain point, that just became not very feasible as devices got more and more expensive and premium.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And how are you finding the M4 iPad Pro?
It's great. I went to that from the M2, the last 12.9 one I had was an M2 one. I was going to upgrade to an M4 12.9.
Yeah.
The new thinner one. And that was just at the time that the call was made to switch to using a laptop. So I got a MacBook instead. And downsized the iPad to an 11-inch. Yeah.
And what specs is your iPad?
It's a Wi-Fi only. It's just, I think that's only a 256 gig.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so just the basics.
It's just the basic one. I would have normally got a cellular one, but I was trying to spend as little money as possible because we're, budget constrained at work.
That $200 upgrade is such a, oh man. I wish it wasn't that much. I wish it was like like the other iPads I think are $150. I miss the days where it was just like $100 or something. $129 used to be, I think.
Yeah. And so I just hotspot through my phone, and that whole kind of, generally it works seamlessly. Sometimes I've got to go in and manually turn on.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Like basically, I've got a Wi-Fi only one now as well, and basically the way I initiate Wi-Fi, the cellular tethering, the hotspot is I open Safari and hit refresh, and once I do that, it instantly looks for the iPhone.
Okay.
Because basically, once the iPad's looking for your network, let me just find your iPhone here, and that works really well. And the Vision Pro, oddly, that also is really good about the hotspot. Like you put that thing's like you just put it on, and if you're not on Wi-Fi, it instantly asks you, "Do you want to connect to your iPhone?" Without you doing anything. It's like it wants that internet connection like right away. So it's looking, and let's pair with this, and so generally that's a great solution as far as as long as you're
that's worked out fine for me.
On board's better, of course, but it is nice to have the tethering. It's
particularly if you're taking photos with the iPad itself. Then you get the GPS tag.
Yes, that's the big thing.
A bit more accurate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the days where you get the jailbreak your iPhone to get the tether kicked off and all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, anything we didn't cover that you'd like to before we wrap it up?
I think we've covered over everything that I was thinking of. I do have, I've got a couple of Linux VMs in an app on the iPad, which I use sometimes for network testing. The one's called ISH, and the other one is called, I think it starts with an A, but I haven't used it for a while. I also use the iPad I've got a magnetic Visa mount next to my studio display at work that I put the iPad on, and I can use continuity to use the keyboard and mouse to control the iPad. So just kind of use the iPad as a second screen at work with my Mac in clamshell mode. A shell is the other one.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be curious
that's
if
like-
over the next 5 years, if we will finally get proper virtual machines that can run fast. Like, it'd be so nice to be able to run, Windows or whatever, even the Mac as a virtual machine.
Yeah.
But that's restricted right now, and it's very slow to try to run stuff at full speed.
Intel speeds, it's slow. Like I use Parallels on my MacBook to run Windows 11 for ARM and a couple of Linux distros as well. And funnily enough, the Windows 11 for ARM, which is a kind of an Intune deployed copy of the build that we put out on the laptops, the Dell laptops at work. It actually runs faster in my VM on my M4 Pro MacBook than it does natively on the laptops that we give out.
That's wild, yeah.
Quite astounding.
Yeah, Parallels has come a long way for Windows on the Mac, especially. I need to install a controller firmware update for controller, a gaming controller, and it was only available for Windows. So I download Parallels. I just download the trials for free, and then Parallels within Parallels itself offers, do you want to download Windows? It's like, sure. Boots right up, and you're off and running, and Windows gives you scary messages that you should pay, but it doesn't really make you. And I was able to go in and do it, and does Windows eventually will shut down?
It will.
Okay.
I think they give you, it's either 90 days or 180 days.
Okay.
Before it'll shut off.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it just tries to scare you forever and doesn't ever shut off. Okay, eventually it will. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fairly long amount of time, but it will.
And then
It's off.
I'm assuming it's downloading an ARM version of Windows. Is that the current situation?
It does. Yeah.
And apps are just now better with ARM for Windows. Has that gone better?
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay.
So like all your normal kind of Windows apps, Windows 11 for ARM is capable of running 32 and 64-bit Windows apps anyway.
Yeah. Does Windows
but there
translate on board like the Mac does with Intel to ARM?
It does have a similar type of technology in it to allow that, yes.
Okay.
I think they call it Windows on Windows.
That's a very Windows name. Windows on Windows, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. There are some things that, even from Microsoft, that are not available for Windows 11 for one of them is the Windows remote server administration tools. They're only available for Intel Windows.
That's great.
So it's when I saw the recent push with the Copilot Plus PCs, and it's all like Qualcomm CPUs, Windows for ARM, and that kind of thing, and they're making a big song and dance about it. And I thought, system administrators can't use those. What?
Right. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
When they start making those things work for Windows system admins, then I know that they're taking ARM seriously. And up until now, they haven't.
Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah. Well, anything else before we wrap it up?
I don't have anything, no.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, William. It's been great learning how you use the iPad, and always fascinating to kind of hear how people work.
Yeah. Lovely talking to you.
Well, that's my conversation with William, all about how he uses the iPad. My thanks again to William for his time recording this episode. My thanks to you for your time and attention tuning in. You can check out William's Mastodon. It is linked to in the show notes of this episode. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, I'll talk with everyone again real soon.